Hey everybody, welcome back to Kenshi, the Cannibal Hunters, where we continue our fight to take down the entire Cannibal Nation using the Cannibals Expanded mod. In today's episode, we're going to focus on building our production line, our iron production line. We're going to get some walls and power going, and we're going to finish up our crossbow assembly line, our crossbow bolt assembly line. We're not going to build any crossbows yet. If you're new to the channel, and you're enjoying this series, consider subscribing for daily Kenshi content. We bring it out every single day. If you want to be part of the Cannibal Hunters, take a look at the description of the video. There's details on how to do that there. So, I wanted to, in the last episode, I kind of told you a little bit about this lighting, right? And I was putting down these torches sort of strategically, or at least attempting to. And what we'll notice is that while they are operating the machine here, burn, now that it's nighttime, it's still 9. It's not red. Now, what happens if we look at VAM over here? Now, VAM, if we mouse over this, says working in darkness, minus 56%. So that's really the trick, right? Now we don't have any power yet, and we're gonna work on that in this episode. But we do want all of our workers, no matter where they work at, to have lighting, right? Because we don't want them to be working slower at night every time, because that just makes it take longer for us to get everything done. So what do we need to do? What we need to do first off is get our. Man, I'm really having trouble here because I don't remember who's engineers and all that yet, because my other playthrough is quite a bit different. So I'm gonna have to adapt to that, guys. So be patient with me here. I might be a little slow sometimes. Plus I'm old, so hey, it happens. So what we want to do is set up some lights here, torch post, and let's get a nice torch post set up against the wall here for Vam, and that way he can get some lighting in here. Hard to work in the dark, isn't it, buddy? Now, when the light comes up, hopefully we'll see that go from a 6 to like a 9 or something. 13, woo! All right, so now we can continue to have him researching. I'll just show you kind of what I am researching here. We're looking at wind generator theory. Now, we're not going to be able to use that for a little bit because we don't have any copper going, and we're going to have to make... oh, actually... I wonder. I can't remember, guys. Maybe I'm wrong here. I got used to using the small wind generators, right? Those small wind generators are awesome. I love those things. So really what we want to do is get those. But for the time being, we're going to need a large wind generator. And you can always check to see what the wind is like. Maybe? Vam, can you prospect? Is it because he's, I guess, oh, he needs to be outside. Okay. So let's go outside. Let's do some prospecting here. And it looks like wind is 6.7 miles an hour, which I think that's as fast as it gets. So we're doing good there. And so we should be able to put up wind generators out here and get some power. Now the big ones, they don't generate as much power when the wind slows down. So the smaller ones, using more of the smaller ones later on in your playthrough is definitely better. But for now, we're just going to have to use the big ones until we've researched some of that tech and we have some copper assembly line going, some copper plate, or not copper plate, some electronics components assembly line going. So it's going to be a little while before we do that. So the next thing I'm going to start working on a little bit here and bring you back in for is getting our iron assembly line set up. Because right now we've pretty much got our stone processor assembly line going. Everything is going fine. We got stone building up, so we're not processing it as fast as we're generating it, which is great. And at some point, we'll shift people around on jobs, right? When this fills up, well, we don't need everyone just sitting there idle once they've finished. And so we'll kind of tweak our assembly lines as we go organically. I'm not going to like throw up 17 stone processors and try to get it going faster. I'm going to let this grow the way just organically, like I said. And as we discover bottlenecks, we'll deal with them. So I will bring you back in once we're starting to kind of work on our iron production. And we've got this iron node over here, and we're going to start getting that put together. So one of the things I kind of forgot to show you guys, if you hit Shift F12, in the last episode I actually wanted to show you this. If you hit Shift F12, you can bring up these nav mesh tools here, and then look at the roads, right? And so when I built my first base in my first playthrough, I had this issue where I actually built right over a road, and it made it really hard for my guys to get out of the base, impossible actually. So I had to micro a lot to get them out of my base. And so what we're not going to do in any way, shape, or form is build across the road. Now, I think you can actually move the roads. We're going to leave it where it is. And we're basically going to build our gates somewhere and our sort of like turret defenses, etc. When we do that, we're going to build it away from that road. We're going to make sure that we don't build over that road at all. We don't want to interfere with the natural pathing. So we'll probably build a gate over here somewhere so that our characters, when we tell them to go somewhere, will go out of that gate and then go to the road and move. So I just wanted to show you guys that real quick. We've also set up a, we've got Rain the Giant, Excali, and Chad. Oh, I think it's full. They're not working anymore. Okay, so I need to build a, I actually built a torch over here, but yeah, they're not working anymore because, of course, we don't have a storage for them, so we better get Naga on that right away. And, oh, autosave. All right, so let's get an ore storage going. Now, I don't want it to be all the way over there per se. I don't necessarily want them to run, but I do kind of want our processing to be a little closer to maybe where we'll set up factories and stuff. So I think I'll set that up right over here, and then maybe we'll do a let's see, do I even have that yet? I do have an iron refinery. That's great. Then we'll take and set this refinery up. I kind of want to do the same thing I did here, where I just sort of set it up a little ways away from. I'm going to tilt it if I can. It doesn't look like these are snapping using the slopeless mod. Well, that's interesting. Oh, I was using the wrong key. Okay, so I think I'll just kind of set it up. Give it plenty of space there. And there we go. And then actually, do I have iron plate storage? I do, and that's kind of the next thing we want is iron plate storage. We'll put that on the other side over here with, again, plenty of room. And we'll build more iron plate storages, right? We'll have some surplus, and we'll build those closer to our production facilities. But for now, that'll get us going. Not really sure why Naga. Oh, I know why. Let's see, what does this need? This needs 1 iron plate. So since we don't have iron plate storage yet, when I build things that require iron plates, he's essentially just going to complain and he's not going to get anything done. So let's go grab an iron plate from our trusty bull over here, and then we'll have him build that. And once that's ready to go, and he's got that completed, these guys can work together on that. The cannibals that are just like living right next to us don't seem to be bothering us at all. So that's kind of nice. And then what we're going to do, so these guys can build whenever they want to, is we're going to take all these iron plates that were on Makaroo and toss them in that iron plate storage. Now they should just basically take those iron plates and start building everything they need to. And then once this guy is done being built, which maybe I'll pause this construction real quick here. So once that's done, oh, and now I can start this construction again. I really didn't need to pause that. So now that that's paused, sorry, now that that's paused, now that this is done, you can notice that Rain has essentially filled up her inventory with iron. Well, she hasn't filled it up, but she took all 5 of them that were over there, right? And she's just going to run that over to this storage, and then work will continue as normal. Now, we don't have anybody to work this guy yet, so we will probably, I think what we're going to end up doing is putting our, that's funny, some guys came over, I guess, to mess with us, and we just destroyed them. Okay, so the iron refinery is done, but nobody's working it, right? And we do want someone to start cranking out iron plates. Els doesn't have a job yet, so we're going to go ahead and have Els do that. But also, Naga, if he's not engineering, and also our other engineer, Beep, if Beep is not engineering, where are ya, Beeparoo? Okay, Beep's over here. So if Beep's done engineering, then he can go ahead and work that iron refinery as well. I don't want the engineers to get sidetracked. I love how they're all going to get sidetracked with combat just constantly. That may be a bit of a problem. I'm not going to worry about it. I do like them attacking things. Oh no, a scrawny raid. Okay, so we've kind of got our production facilities for for the iron plates and also for the building materials set up at this point, and we've got VAM hard at work on doing some research. So kind of the next thing we're going to work on is getting some power set up, and I believe are there actually dudes? Oh, yeah, there's a oh wow, look at this, guys. I'm glad we brought the helpers with us. Because that is a lot of scrawny cannibals. I guess let's get mixed up. Okay, dudes. Let's wreck the hell out of these guys. Oh, yeah. Alright, Nexus, get in there, buddy. Yeah. Taking a few hits, but that's okay. That's okay. He's going to get his own hits in. There you go. Cutting them in half. Alright. Nice job. Nice job. Agnew getting in there. Beep, wrecking face. Oh man, we kill these things so fast. It's really hard to follow the fight. Plus we got these, these extra bodyguards with us and stuff. So that's great. Just dominating these scrawny cannibals. I mean, they just really just can't compete with us at all. Now we're going to take a little bit of damage, and to kind of combat that, I have set up temporarily until we get fabric production going. I have set up these camp beds, which should help us out with some healing in the meantime until we get beds set up. So, oh, Double and Naga, did they go running off? Not too bad. Not too bad. What are they going to do? Are they going to run off and fight stuff? Or are they out of... No, they're not out of arrows. Naga is, I guess, just... Oh, man, look at that damage. Boom. You're done, son. Is Naga... Yeah, Naga's just like, nah, I'm going to go fight whatever I want. Okay. Why don't we have you come back over here, Naga? Behave yourself. Okay, cool. So lots of cannibals down, and when people, as long as you have people, well, as long as they have jobs on and they don't have anything to do, if they're injured, they will go sleep. Now the problem is all these people right now have jobs, right? Because they're not specifically stay-at-home people with nothing to do. So, I don't think that they will necessarily heal themselves. So we'll have to kind of micro that a little bit, but that's okay. We'll keep an eye out for it. And so I think we've already researched, yeah, we already finished researching. Now we've done some core research, did gear storage. I forgot to go through that list with you guys, but it was on the screen, so if you want to check out what was up there, then you can go back and take a look at it. Let's go through these really quick just to see if there's anything that we want right now. No, we don't care about any of this stuff quite yet. Fabric manufacturer, at some point we're definitely going to want to do that, but for right now we can just start getting into tech level 2, and then once tech level 2 becomes available, we'll have more we can do. And we got improved stone mining that's going to be finished here in a little bit. Now Naga, I believe, unless I'm mistaken, I think these wind generators, oh, they do cost copper. Okay, so they don't take electrical components, but we are going to have to start farming some of that copper in order to start building that. So that's kind of next on the list. We'll find that copper vein. I think it's right over here. I'll get somebody set up on that. I don't know who yet, but we'll see what that's going to be. Maybe VAM can handle that when he's not researching. I do kind of want someone to do that sooner, so I'll kind of put some thought into that. And once I've got that system set up, I'll kind of show you guys what we've done here. Okay, guys, so what I'm doing here is I'm just setting up a little fireplace. We don't need the campfire, I just thought it looked kind of neat. And I don't have any furniture unlocked, really. I don't have a building to put it in. So what I really wanted to do is I want to have a place where when someone is idle, they will go sit down, right? So I can see when people have no jobs to do. So I'm basically going to let people sort of like go through and do their jobs until they run out of stuff to do, and then I'll notice, right, sort of naturally, like who ends up not having something to do. Because what they'll do when they don't have anything left to do on their job queue, so like if there's no engineering to do and there's no like operating this manual iron refinery, once once Naga doesn't have either one of those to do, like this is full and the storage is full and there's nothing to build, there's no engineering tasks assigned. what he's going to do is he's going to come over here. He's going to sit down on one of these benches and be done, essentially. So once we get those all built and people start being idle, essentially, which means that storage is kind of filled up, then they'll start sitting down, and then I'll know that I can basically start giving them new jobs to do. So I just wanted to show you that real quick in case you weren't familiar with that. All right, guys. So Vam got bored. He didn't have a job to do anymore, and he finished all the research that we're currently working on. And of course, we're going to add a little bit more here in a second. So he's probably not the best person to do this, but just as he came over here and sat down, so I knew he kind of finished up what he was working on. And so I built him a copper storage, so when he fills up his 5 copper, he'll run back over here and drop it off. And we're not in a rush to get power going because we don't really have any upgrades researched that will, that really matter right now. Now, one thing that we could do is essentially, we could go and research the upgraded stone mine, which I don't think I have yet. I'll just run Naga in there because you can't see what's in the building unless you're in the building, which I find. I mean, I think it makes sense if it's an enemy building, but when it's your building, I don't think that makes much sense. So, all right, so what do we want to do? What we want to do is we can't research Tech 3. Oh, right, because we need a new research bench. So we'll need a new building for that. So let's see, crafting, did I already get? No, it wasn't crafting, it's industry. Industry. So I think I actually already researched improved stone mining. So if we go over here to this stone mine, or this guy, what happens if we upgrade this? It just gives, well, let's see. We'll upgrade it. So now we only need 2 workers for this thing, right? So now one of these workers, let's just say Agnew, being the fine stone miner that he is, he can now go work on this guy. And I don't know, let's see, what's Agnew? Okay, so since Vam is already working on it, what Agnew's done is he's come and sit down. So that demonstrates essentially that technique. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually just going to go ahead and remove this copper resource mining job from Vam. And I believe Agnew should get up and go start mining. Now Vam, I think, should sit down, but it doesn't look like I don't know what it is. It doesn't seem to quite work right. But let's see. What if I assign him another job? Maybe I toggle his jobs. It does take a second sometimes for it to happen, but it seems like I had this happen earlier where it kind of bugged out. So maybe if somebody knows like why it doesn't, it only seems to not work when I manually set him to a job and then remove it. So I'm not sure. So maybe after they get in a fight down here, maybe Vam will go sit down when he's like, yeah, I got nothing to do. Let's take a look. And we'll, of course, assign him some research here in a second. No, he's just standing there. Okay. I think sometimes it takes a little bit of time, but I don't think it usually takes this much time. So we'll go ahead and just get Vam in here, and he can research everything that we're sort of like, wanting to have researched near term. I don't think there's a whole lot. We don't care about any of that, clothing manufacturer or anything like that. It's going to take books, so we'll just wait. We'll wait until we've kind of like got all the stuff we want. So we'll need to get the next building. So maybe that's what we'll do. We'll actually build another building that we're going to do our research in. Put something over here. Let's see, Naga, what do you got for me, buddy? Buildings. Yeah, so we can build this storm house essentially, which is exactly what I was hoping we could do. Yeah, maybe somebody can kind of run me through what in the world. Oh, okay, so it is working. I think it just, once you do that, it just sort of snaps. And then it won't rotate anymore when you go over terrain. So that's cool. So I kind of want this facing the fireplace, just because it's like a town square, or maybe it will be at some point. So we're just going to put that down. And when there's enough building materials, it'll get done. And then once we have that up, we'll start adding some stuff inside and whatnot. And once we have enough copper stored up, we'll start working on basically getting getting some of those windmills set up so we can get some power going. And yeah, that'll be kind of the next thing we're gonna work on is getting some power going and getting our improved research bench set up in here, and then we'll clear this out because we won't. Another thing I noticed that I just kind of wanted to mention here real quick. I'm not really sure what's going on, but I I had a problem with this over here as well. These sort of resources that are far away, and maybe it is just a distance thing. Like if we look at Shift F12 again, right? It seems to be outside of the sort of like range of this outpost. So because it's outside, they're not doing their engineering job right away. I'm not really sure. If anybody knows that, leave me a note in the comments, like let me know, hey, uh, you know, what's going on. So I'm not really sure what's up with that. Like if we have to just move our outpost center, or because I could certainly do that. Maybe I should just try that. Can we grab that thing? No, that's not what I want. Oh God, and now that's not what I wanted. All I wanted to do now, I think if we move any of that, oh, that's a problem because I think if we don't make a mod for it, it's just going to go back to where it was. But that's fine, no big deal. Yeah. So if anybody knows why, what I'm talking about here, I don't know if I explained this. So I made a torch post out here somewhere. I can't even see it. Oh, there it is. But the engineers are not coming out to grab that, right? So, oh, he's already got building supplies. He's not coming out here to take care of it. So maybe once he starts building it, he'll. Okay, cool. Of course, he built it in a place that doesn't really help me because it didn't give. It didn't actually give. Okay, Naga, what I want you to do is. Oh, he still does have the building supplies. Okay, that's great. So let's just get him out here. And so he built a torch post, but then when Agnew moved, the torch post is in a place that completely is not helpful. So we'll put down another one, and hopefully get enough light for Naga, or for Agnew rather. Cool. Make sure he's got the buff. Yep, he does. Awesome. And we just check back on our guys every once in a while, because sometimes they go from different spots, like right here. We got these guys who are operating in darkness, so we just, use Naga to basically build another torch post in a spot that they have sort of ended up in. And, the more advanced lights you get, I believe they actually are brighter, right? So you end up not having to put down as many, but kind of in the beginning, you just sort of notice, all right, well, Sadmus is working in a spot where there's no light, so we'll just build him another light. And then at some point we'll exchange them for these electrical torch posts once we have power, right? And that should fix that for him. Yep. And let's just make sure burn. Oh, I couldn't tell. He was somewhere over there, but looks like we're doing okay. And then I'm just going to start setting stuff up in this new building. And looks like Vam is bored again because he doesn't have any research to do. Poor guy. It's just a hard life. All right, so we've got the Research Bench 2 built. It doesn't take any power, so that's nice. And I don't remember when they start to take power. We are going to want to make beds regardless of whether or not we can make fabric. We can always go buy fabric. So I'm certainly going to research those. I definitely want to be able to make bigger buildings. And then before we go to Tech 3, we'll just kind of look through. I don't care about making sleeping bags or first aid kits yet. I will at some point. I am going to want hemp-based fabric. Why don't we just go ahead and pick those up right now? Why not? What else do we want? We definitely want corpse disposal. We want to upgrade our walls. Mounted crossbows. Yeah, we'll get that. Light wind generator theory. What does that take? Just books. Good. Basic exterior lighting. I don't really care about that per se. I do want the indoor lighting. I think that's the light post, right? Yeah, those I like those a lot actually. We probably will get that here soon. I'm not going to be doing any cooking just yet. Okay, I will, but not quite yet. Improve stone mining, iron plates, yes for sure. We definitely want, let's see, what is this? Chainmail, leather, armored plate, fabric chest, skins, and meat. We'll get that because we want to be able to put skins and meat away. Wells, we're not worried about quite yet. Farms, not quite yet. Powered stone refinery, yes. And crossbow bolts. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Because that's really the first thing we're trying to do is just get that set up, right? We want to get our crossbow production line set up and ready to go because I don't want to build an entire base, right? I will over the course of time. We'll go back to building a little bit more. For right now, I just want to build these crossbow bolts and we'll get those going so that we can provide all of our dudes who, Naga, Burn, Chad, and Double. We want them to have a steady supply because if we look at their inventory, let's look. I mean, Double's out. He's got two bolt groups left, whatever they're called. Chad's got nothing. Burns got nothing. Naga's got 4 clusters of bolts left. They're just struggling, and there's nothing out here, right? These cannibals do not drop bolts, so we want our archers to be shooting all the time. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started on that research. What? What? Oh, right. Okay. So because he was operating a different machine, not this one, I didn't have him set to do that as a job. So now he's set to do that as a job. Preemptively also, let's go ahead, Vam, and get you some lighting, buddy. And we'll, of course, do an electrical torch post as soon as we can. In fact, maybe what I'll do, let's put this, can I grab that and move it? There we go. Let's just kind of put that, I don't think he's ever going to go in there. So let's just put it right there. If he gets stuck, we'll move it. All right, so that way he'll have light when he needs it at night, and we won't have to worry about it at that point, and we won't lose any time on that. And okay, cool. So that's kind of the next order of business. And as he researches the improvements to the stone refineries and stuff like that, we'll go ahead and start upgrading them, and we'll start getting power set up. One thing that I forgot to do when we sort of had everything set up is I forgot to set up a food store. And so what was happening, I don't think anybody was starving or anything like that, but essentially what was happening, or what would have happened at some point had I not caught it, is people would have started starving because well, they wouldn't have started starving. They could have just gone to the bowl to get the food. But they would not have, and I don't know if we should even keep it all in here. Maybe we should keep some on the bowls. They have the bread, and we need to get an animal food feeder set up as well. But for now, we're just going to keep all our food in the storage, and that way, when people get hungry and they're working on their jobs, they'll basically leave their jobs and walk up here to the food storage and come and get food. See, look at all that. Boom, boom, boom. Bunch of people just came and got some food. So when it's in somebody's backpack that's in town, or the bull, I don't think they come and get food. They will if the bull is within range. But when these guys get hungry, they'll run all the way from the job that they're working on to this building to grab food from it, since it's in the base and since they're reasonably close. I don't think they're too far to get it. If they are, they will certainly essentially once they run out of space, they'll run back here, drop this off, and then they'll be close enough to do that, I think. So if something else goes wrong or I need to change the system, I'll let you know. So we've got some windmills starting to be built here. Now, we certainly aren't going to need, because each one of these provides 50 power, I believe. I'm trying to look for it here somewhere. I don't see, it says power output 0 because it's switched off. But as soon as they get built, I believe it will tell us, that they need 50, or they will generate 50 power. And of course, what I could do is basically just pause these other ones so that they won't start building. I don't think they will, though. I think because these ones are closer, they will work on these ones first. And I think for some reason Beep must have been, let's see what they do here. I don't know. I'm not really sure why they're doing that. They're just kind of splitting between the two. So, and then wrecking cannibals as they come by. So we're going to get 4 of these guys up. That'll give us a pretty good buffer of power. we probably don't need to build that many. We probably would be fine with building one. But when I first kind of get going with power, I like to have a little bit of excess so that I can kind of like have some leeway, right? So I have a buffer, especially with wind. I guess because sometimes the wind power dies down, and you don't have as much. I guess they're not bringing the copper yet, which is okay. I guess they'll go get that after the fact, maybe. So eventually those will get done. I don't really care which order they get done in. I could be a little bit more micro about it. Like you can basically, pause one of these or pause all three of them until they're done with this one, and then, build the rest. And I think if I didn't, if I didn't feel really comfortable with where the base is already, I certainly wouldn't do it like that. I would wait for them to build one and then work on the rest. Oh, that's interesting because they're engineering at night. I'm not going to build torches next to those though. That seems a little silly. But I am going to run around and check our other people and see if, see if they're, because like Chad's working over here because he was, fighting somebody. So that's a spot where we definitely want to put some light just in case. And that, that does take building materials, but I think I'm really, really comfortable with that because then eventually I'll have up enough lights that I just don't even need to worry at all. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. Every night when night comes, I just kind of go by and check people and just see kind of where we need the light and put it up as we need it. I think my first game I tried maybe to put it up ahead of time, and it just doesn't really. Oh, and I think we're gonna have the same problem with the lights, aren't we? Why don't you, before you do that, why don't you come over here, buddy, and grab one of these guys. It's really important that you, when you have drop, let's see, where is it? Is it our AI? I think so. Ditch items. So if you have ditch items on, they will, when you pick something up, if you don't immediately tell them to move to get them to build something. I see the double's being attacked. I think he's probably okay. He may be off arching, like 10 miles away though, so I guess I probably should check just to be sure. There it is. Okay. So, man, those are so hard to see. Okay, so we'll get that built, and then of course once I build it, he's back on the other side. Oh, that's hilarious. Let's just do a quick sweep here. The bleeps, the creeps, and the sweeps. It looks like Sadmust is working in darkness. So Naga, why don't you be a pal and come and set up a torch post? We could probably start setting up electrical torch posts because they're going to be set up any minute here. Okay, so Beep's working on that. Good. Now Sadmust should not be working in the dark anymore. Fantastic. Cool. And we will, of course, have to dismantle some of those, and we will. That's okay. Well, I think on those... Oh, we don't have any torches up over here. I can't believe I missed that. Wow. Wow. All right, Naga. Why don't you... I guess it doesn't matter who I tell who I do it with. I don't know why I do that habitually. I just switch characters ahead of time. Because no matter who I assign that with, like, one of the engineers is going to take care of it. Okay, so Els is no longer working in darkness. That's great. Okay, cool. And we'll continue to develop our production line and throw down torches randomly. And hopefully get some power up here in a brief minute so that when we start upgrading stuff like these guys, that... oh, wait, is it this? I don't know if we've gotten any yet. Let's see. Mining. No, we don't have any yet, but we're working on it. We should be pretty close after defensive walls, maybe. Let's take a look here. Vam, you're not working in darkness, right? We already, yeah, you're good. Yep. Light wind. Improved stone mining 2. I don't know if that's, I don't think that's going to be powered. I think that's, there we go, powered stone refinery. So at some point we'll be getting some pretty soon. So I was definitely wrong earlier when I mentioned that I believed that the max power that you could get was, or the max speed was 6.7. It must be 12 or 13, like, because they're only operating at 50% efficiency right now. So, yeah. Looks like 11.18 might be the best you can get. So, Yeah, so we'll see. Maybe we'll get a little bit better results with the small wind generators, or we just have to build more of them. That's fine. Either way, we'll build what we need to, and we'll build some batteries at some point to kind of hold excess power in case the wind dies down. All right, so VAM just finished improved stone mining 2, and so that means we can upgrade our stone mine again. Now there are stones inside of it, and at first I was worried that they'd be destroyed. Similarly to upgrading your workbench, I think I saw in a video, from a long time ago, somebody had made, like Leviticus or somebody had made a video showing that you needed to move that. It might have been Sabouts too. I don't remember, in his skeleton playthrough or something, like at the very beginning. Somebody, a year or a year and a half ago or something, had made a video where I thought that they had needed to remove the stuff inside of it, otherwise it would get destroyed, and it doesn't do that anymore, as far as I know, and at least in my last game, where I was using slightly different mods, of course. I don't even check on these guys when they fight anymore, because they don't even take any damage from these cannibals. They just kill them so easily. Now, of course, when we fight the cannibal camps, the bigger ones, they're going to be harder, because they got some pretty nasty dudes in there with some pretty crazy weapons. But essentially, when we finish constructing this, we can take a look. Well, as soon as they're done adding materials, it should just show us that there's, yeah, so you can see that the stone is still in there. We don't need to worry about that. Now, it looks like there's 2 people can still work it. Okay, well, I thought it would actually get rid of another person. So, but anyway, we got that. We got that done, and now we're working on iron plates 2. I actually don't even remember what that does. I think it just is your iron refinery. Yep, iron refinery. Doesn't really tell me what it does, but it does say new building iron refinery. Okay, we already have an iron refinery, don't we? Oh, no, that's a manual iron refinery. So I think the iron refinery is powered, and then you just tell somebody to operate it, and then they just, when it's full, they go clear it out. So, okay, cool. So I ended up putting an animal storage feeder down right here, and essentially what I want to do is I want to take some of this food here, which I don't think we can really take. We're not going to take that much. We'll take all the meat, I think, to start, and we'll just put as much as we can. Now the thing is about the animal feeder, right, is it doesn't stack, so you won't be able to get nearly as much food in it. I don't remember if people eat from it as a priority, but I do know that they drop food in it. So they essentially, when you're done cooking food, oh, we can fit a whole lot more than that. Okay, so we'll just take all the meat. So yeah, if you're cooking food and you finish sort of filling the cooks will essentially fill the closest barrel or feeder first, and once that's done being filled, they will move on to the next closest container. So what you can do, I think I'll just leave the bigger items in there, and if we need to go farm some more meat for the animals, we will. So if you have like a feeder closer to your kitchen, then the cooks will drop the food in here first, and it will fill up really fast. Especially if you're using Gohan that's 3x3 instead of 2x2 like these meat, it'll just fill this up super fast. And then you can put so like if our cook was here, and our food storage was in here, and the animal feeder was here, when the cook runs out, the cook will run by the animal feeder first, and since it's closer, he'll fill that up first. Once that's full, then he'll start ferrying food into the storage in here. So that's an easy way to kind of keep your animal feeder full, as long as you have enough food production to support both of those, right? All right, so we finished research on the powered iron refinery, or just what's known as the iron refinery. So we're going to go ahead and dismantle. I cleared it out first. We have a little bit of progress in here we're going to lose, but I'm not worried about it. So let's go ahead and dismantle this iron refinery, because we can't upgrade it, right? That's important to check to make sure that you can't upgrade. So we're going to dismantle that, and then we're going to have these guys build the upgraded version. Now we will be able to upgrade this one. Now notice it's quite a bit bigger, so that's why I mentioned it's important to make sure you have some space to be able to put this thing in. So we're just going to set it right on in there. confirm that and let these guys build that. Of course, the miners were on their way to drop stuff off in it, but they don't have they can't drop stuff off in it now. So we'll let these guys go ahead and work on that and build it. Now it takes 10 power. It doesn't look like it tells us right here that it takes 10 power. Can we see somewhere? No. I don't. Maybe I'm missing it. It says minus 90%, but I know it takes 10 power because I checked ahead of time. And essentially, we've got 50 or 100 power rather going right now. So that's plenty to give us going for a little bit. And as soon as this is up now, this only takes 2 workers, right? So again, we've increased or improved the efficiency of our production chain, and now we only need 2 people to operate this thing. So now we'll have an engineer that's just sitting on their butt. All right, we finished researching the upgrade that we need for Stone Processor 2 from the manual Stone Processor. It's a little weird that you can upgrade this one, but you can't upgrade the other one, but I'm okay with it. So we're going to go ahead and upgrade that, and yep, get our engineers hard at work on this bad boy. I'll speed that up a little bit. And it looks like you only need 2 workers now, and I think we needed 3 on here before, so now we're going to have another free worker, which means I'm going to essentially take the people who were engineers and relieve them of duty. So they don't need to be working on these machines anymore. So Beep, and I already took Naga off it, but I'm going to take Beep off of this completely. He can sit around, and then I don't. Oh, are we missing iron plates? We are. Okay. So I don't remember who I had on that. I think Burn is on the stone mine. Double is on the... Oh, well, they're already... Oh, because we upgraded it, right? So they're already on it. So Rain... No, he's on iron. Excali on iron. Chad's on iron. So I think... Oh, the Sadmust... I need to make more boxes, you know. There's just not enough room for people to sit down. So Ellen, how about, why don't you, instead of working on the Stone Processor 2, why don't you work on the iron refinery? Get some of those cranking out, because right now these guys aren't doing anything because they can't. There's nothing. I mean, they just can't work on this right now because it's not built, right? So we got to wait for these iron plates to start getting cranked out here. Let's make sure they're not working in darkness, and look at that. Els is definitely working in darkness. So, since we have a surplus of building materials and we don't have a lot of iron plates, I'm going to continue to build these crummy lights, at least for the time being. And once we sort of kind of get this stone refinery up and going and get some more research finished, I will show you some more base building goodness. All right, let's keep going. If I could remember how to put the light down. Sometimes when I talk, it's impossible for me to continue to do something in the game, right? Like my attention span, as long as I'm talking, it seems like I can't do it. So maybe over time I'll get better at that. You know, as a software engineer, I'm not used to talking to people while I am writing code or, you know, architecting a solution in the cloud or something, and so it's different for me to do that. I don't normally game and talk. So yeah. We'll see if I get better at that. Let me know if you see 5 episodes from now that I'm just as bad as I used to be, or 10 episodes I'm a little bit better. Let me know. I'd be curious to see what you think, or maybe I'm even better now than I was when I first started. I have no idea. So let me know in the comments below if you have experience with that, or if you think that you've noticed a difference. Whatever, man. I have no idea. So it's always great to get feedback from you guys. Get that interaction. So all right. Alright guys, we just finished researching tech level 3, so Naga and Beep are hard at work getting our bench upgraded to tech level 3, and as soon as we have that, we can start researching even more friggin' sweet tech. So yeah, looking forward to that. That's going to be awesome. So whenever they are done, it looks like it's going to be a while, so I'll probably, even on the fastest speed. So we'll take a look at what they're going to research here in just a little bit. All right, dudes and dudettes, it is time to research skeleton repair beds. Potentially. Let's just look through really quick, right? Because we definitely We definitely need electrical crafting because we're going to need electrical components. And we're running out of books, right? So I'm gonna have to go on a book collecting spree here in a little bit. I'm not too worried about batteries at this point. Light post efficiency, I'm certainly going to want that, but it's not super important right now. It only takes one book, so maybe it's okay. Let's just look through the list really quick together and just kind of, we're not going to worry about cooking yet. We are going to get into that, but that is not going to be our primary goal for right now. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, what was our primary goal, guys? Our primary goal was to, and let's put some of this. We got ore drills. We definitely are going to want that for sure. That's going to take ancient science books, dude. But that's okay. That's okay. So, but before we worry about that, why don't we take a look and see? I believe we can actually make an arrow making bench. That is exactly what I want to do for right now. And I think what I'll do is I will put that upstairs. Let's see. Hard to tell. Yeah, okay. Well, let's put it maybe. Oh, I wish that the mouse cursor would drag the edge of the screen like normal. It does not, however, though, when you're in this mode. Okay, cool. So let's get that built up. And that's only going to take 4 iron plates, so that's not bad at all. Should have that finished here pretty quickly. And once we have that built, let's take a look, because we want to build regular bolts. Now, I don't remember if we get that unlocked right away. I think we do. I think regulars we do. Let's see. So output, what can we... No, we can't. We can make toothpicks. We cannot make regulars. So I don't know if we need to get that recipe, but that's... Oh man, our production line has run into a serious flaw, guys. We don't have the recipe. We need to build those. So let's take a look at our research bench really quick here and see if we need something for that. What would it be under crafting, I suppose? Well, maybe smithing? I don't think so. Crossbow crafting. We can get crossbow parts, spring steel junk bow. Well, I don't know, guys. I think maybe that's a recipe that I have to go get from a town or something. I'm going to check on that and get back to you. So you'll know in a few moments. I'll know in, I don't know, 5 minutes. Okay, so we got a few more things built up in the base now. Looking pretty good. We're just starting to build an ore drill. I did build a second iron plate storage place, or box, I guess, container. What are they actually called? Storage, iron plates. Anyway, so, whoa, okay, that's nice meat. Good for you. We'll deal with you in a second. So, Excali. Excali is now working on bolts, regulars, and we're just going to have him fill this entire box until his knuckles are bleeding. So that'll get him nice and tough for combat. Not really, but it will actually bulk him up. It'll make him look bigger, so he'll be more buff. So that'll be kind of cool. Anyway, we're going to just keep him working on that. And I don't have him working on pulling iron resources anymore, because as soon as this is done, we won't need him to do that anymore, because there's only 2 workers are needed on this thing. And so once that's going to require 20 power, so once that's done, we're going to be sitting about 55 used power. Now this is less than normal efficiency because, oh, never mind, it only takes 1 worker. What am I talking about? I didn't realize that. So I think what that means is that we have someone who has a job that they don't need to have. This is Stone Processor 3. So double can handle that, and then Nexus, you don't need to work on that anymore. Agnew can still work on copper, but it's full. VAM is done researching. What is going on here? This is a cannibal hunter who was essentially put on cannibal armor. Oh man, I had no idea. So I think maybe what happened, I mean, we killed a ton of cannibals here, guys. And I put up this corpse furnace as well. I didn't show you that, so this is cool. This is really handy because, you know, we just getting tons of corpses. Of course, we still have tons of severed limbs. You can see how much damage our escort and ourselves, how much we do. So let's see, anything else that we're missing here? We do have a bunch of research done. We can certainly go in here and check with VAM really quick. Just see what we've got. I guess we could do improved stone mining. That requires 5 books. I picked up a couple extra books with. You know, I didn't tell you. Okay, before I forget. The regular bolts. Okay, so originally what I did is I thought I remembered that they were down here. In Black Scratch. Now the reason I thought that is because we saw before, right, when we were down there, Black Scratch has a ton of different. Black Scratch has just a ton of different recipes, right, or blueprints, and you know we didn't. I didn't know if it was there, but I thought, okay, I thought they had every blueprint in the game. It turns out they don't have the blueprints for ammo, so they have the blueprints for pretty much everything that you can imagine other than ammo. So what you need to look for buying ammo. And I would buy them when you see them rather than doing what I did and wait because I had to go to a bunch of different towns. Not that many, but so I went to Black Scratch thinking that it wasn't there. And so I looked it up in the Forgotten Construction set, and essentially when you have crossbow shops, they have a small chance to sell bolt patterns, so or bolt blueprints. So Black Scratch did have a crossbow shop, but they didn't have an actual. I think it's actually called. I can't remember what it's called. Ranger shop, maybe actually, but in the FCS it's called a crossbow shop. And so I looked in that shop. They didn't have any, so it was far enough away from the next day for the shops to reset that I've checked the FCS to see what other towns have crossbow shops. Heft had one, Shobatai has one, and Bark has one. So by the time I got up to Shobatai, I found it. I didn't have to go to Bark, but essentially I had to run all the way down there and then run all the way back up here and then run here. And maybe I should have checked ahead of time, but the wiki didn't have really very good information on where to get them. So hopefully when you're watching this, you don't have to go through the same troubles I did. So just look for any town that you remember seeing a crossbow shop in, and they have a chance to have that recipe. Now, if you know you're going to need that later on, just buy it early on or steal it, whatever. Get a hold of it early so you don't have to like run around looking for it, right? Because it's a rare chance that the stores will have it. So you might be searching for a while if you don't just get it when you see it. So I would strongly recommend getting it when you see it, but it's up to you. Okay, so what are we doing now? Do we have any more research that we're going to do? I think we definitely want to do improved stone mining. Iron plates 3, that's just books, that's good. Let's see, I don't think we had anything under smithing that we needed yet. We're not going to do any training anytime soon. We're not building an army. Nothing under farming, electrics. Now, because the wind is so bad here, we might do fuel generation. We might do biofuel, but I haven't decided on that yet, so we'll certainly do light post efficiency. Searchlights would be nice, but I might wait because we're a little limited on books at this point, right? Until we get some more books. That's an ancient science book for robotics. That could be cool. And that'll give us the ability to make skeleton repair kits, although I don't think we're going to need to. I never had to make a single skeleton repair kit in my other game, so. Okay, so I think that's good for now. We'll add some more research later. What are we going to do here? I guess we'll just deal with this raid. That's probably going to be pretty easy. We'll get this guy built, and I think once we fill up that crossbow bolt box, we'll kind of summarize the base and see where we're at, because at that point I'm going to want to start moving on the cannibals. I don't really care about the walls. We're not having any problems defending at all. The Holy Nation hasn't been attacking us. So we'll see what's going on with that. Now, at some point, I am going to start constructing some walls, but I don't think I really need to now. So we'll just keep chugging away, and I guess we'll just deal with this raid a little bit here. What was that guy? Oh, I thought he looked like a chief for a second. Nope, he's just a cannibal. Yeah, these guys just don't stand any chance against us at all. And what's kind of interesting about that is what happens is they kind of spawn up here and then they run by this village, and this village is a different faction, so they fight each other. And then a pretty small amount of guys get here, you know, and then we just kind of clean them up pretty easily. I mean, look at it. There's hardly anybody here. And I didn't quite detail the corpse furnace, right? The corpse furnace, when I first built it, and I was trying to build it, it was close to this building, and for some reason the engineers couldn't path to it. And I noticed that when I built it too close to a wall in my last town as well, so I built it away from the building, and then they had no problems getting to it. So once I think, yeah, so I've got Naga and Beep, our two engineers, assigned to deal with that, right? So once these guys are done engineering and filling in these building materials and building this guy, they will continue to dispose of corpses. So we'll get this guy built, and then we'll kind of finalize the initial base build that will ready us to be able to go out and push. We're not generating any food yet, of course, and at some point we will, but that'll be an episode in the future. I'm not going to do that in this episode. We don't have a ton of food. You know, this is out. The animals are going to, well, the DOG's fine. He's got limbs for days. But these guys are going to get hungry at some point. So, and you can see Agnew has nothing to do, so we should start probably building electrical components, because otherwise our copper is we've just got, you know, infinite copper. So we'll do that. And I think actually we may have electrical components ready to go, and I could just probably build them in this building here. I think this might be a storage shed, so maybe I'll do them over here. Or upstairs near where Excallies is kind of building stuff. We could do that as well. Let's see. I think I'll wait until this thing's built, and then we'll... Okay, so we're building some. Oh, they kind of left a little bit earlier than I wanted them to. So we've built some raw meat and animal skin storage here, and the reason we are doing that is essentially I want to auto forage animals. We had some bone dogs stop by and say hello, and I'd really like to get their skins every time that happens. So when we start making leather armor, we'll have a surplus of armor, leather rather, saved up. So, and in order to do that, what I would do is basically select, so you can see there's the forage animals job down here. What I will do essentially is, you know, shift right click. So if I get rid of this job and I shift right click on that corpse, you'll see that forage animals has now shown up. So I'm going to move that up above corpse disposal. And then I did the same thing on Naga, because they're kind of our engineers slash corpse disposers, etc. So, all right. And we've got this guy done. I dismantled the torches that were sort of, you know, next to this guy. So we're good to go on that. And so I put up an electric torch post. We're sitting at 47. I think sometimes we get up to 65 if both the stone processor and this are running at the same time. Sorry, and this iron refinery. If all the processors are running at the same time, we're, you know, getting close to our max power. So we need to be a little mindful of that. 57, 67, there we go. So when we got everybody working everything, we're sitting at 67. So we'll need to start adding some more power here, so I feel a little bit more comfortable with kind of the buffer that we have. Other than that, we're looking pretty good, and I think we're getting ready to kind of be pretty close to done with this first piece of the base. And so I'm just going to continue to let Excalli build up some bolts for us, and once we kind of have enough bolts to kind of just fill everybody's quiver full, we will start pushing into cannibal territory. All right, guys. So we have the Iron Refinery 2 going. So our iron and stone production, and our iron plate, and our building material production is well underway. We're maxed out on building materials, maxed out on stone, close to maxed out on. Oh, we are maxed out on copper. Agnew is chugging away. He is using his science skill, which is almost non-existent at this point. He is going to be making robotic or electrical components rather. And yeah, Vam is done with his research, his current research. Now, I could have Vam, of course, up here doing this because, well, he's good at science. Or, well, I don't know how good he is, but let's take a look. He is 56, so he's definitely better than Agnew. Of course, we don't really care. Eventually, they're both going to be good. I have a bunch of raw iron sitting here on the ground because it was in Excali's inventory. Eventually, someone will grab that and use it for something. If they don't, well, when we do an import, it'll fix that. So, everything's looking pretty good. It's going to take a long time for these bolts to get crafted. His skill is going to go up and get much faster. His crossbow smithing is only 23, so eventually we'll want to get that up to 90 plus. And then once we have his crossbows crossbow smithing up that high, not only is he going to look like Rocky, but he's going to make bolts quite a bit faster, and he'll be ready to start making some crossbows. The next thing we need to do is once we've got all those crossbows fitted, we can see we got 22 hours left on our contract. I may renew it just to make quick work of the zone. Might as well use the resources we have, right? So now by the time we get up here to the last part, it's going to be a little bit more difficult because the bosses are pretty tough. So the next thing we need to do is basically clear this zone. We're going to push from Cannibal Village to Cannibal Village. We're going to clear them all. We're going to clear this Lost Library, and then we're going to push up to First Village and wipe out the Meat Lord and his horde. And we're going to do that, guys, tomorrow in the next episode. So thank you so much for watching. I had a ton of fun with you dudes today. And hey, you know what? If you had as much fun as I did today, let me know by crushing that like button. And if you didn't, tell me in the comments section below what I can do to make this series and this channel more fun for you. And as always, guys, I can't wait to see you all in the next episode of the Cannibal Hunters. Love ya!